morning.
How
Hi.
it's good to see you. Can you see me where you are?
No, which is not good.
This is a
I'm
win for
alone here.
it's a win for me, but I can funny enough I can see you. So we have you very
All
kindly
right.
took a Zoom call message from us this morning with about 10 minutes to go, and still you look amazing. So thanks for doing that. You're a good sport.
Thank you.
How was
Not
it
at
all?
all.
How was it all? We're on the 10th of January now. Are you back in full spirits and full form and good to go for 2024?
Yeah, good to go. I mean, yeah, back to right now. It's back to school routine, basically.
Yes.
Not very glamorous, kind of like most people, most of your listeners, I'm sure. Yeah.
Good. You've got two children, if I'm not mistaken,
Yes.
and they.
Yeah.
How old
Yeah.
are they now?
I have Jeannie and Brett, and he has just turned 10, and she is 11.
And was Jeannie who I met that time in the city
That's
centre,
right.
and she
Yeah,
was.
you're a big fan.
I was kind of heading into. I just mentioned it on to one of the callers there to O'Donoghue's pub for a just a research mission to check the Guinness, and you were in the distance on the street, weren't you, with Jeannie?
I was. We hollered over at you. You went, fans, get away! And anyway, I was all wrapped up in a hat and everything like that. But we accosted you, and you gave her the secret of the toy show, and she kept it. She didn't even tell me, so I was very proud of her. You told her what was going to be the theme.
Well, that's
Um,
very few children get that insight, as you well know.
yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And how is she? Is she a reader? She seemed like a real smart young lady. So she.
She's smart. She reading. She doesn't love it like I do, but she's into gymnastics and stuff like
Oh,
that.
that's
Yeah.
perfect. That's perfect. So she's
Exercise.
active,
Yeah.
and she'll
Yeah.
find her way in that world rather than
Yes.
the nerd. Are you nerdy, Andrea? I mean, would you describe yourself as such a thing?
I actually think I am. Yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
Well, tell me then.
Yeah.
What are you reading at the moment?
The moment I'm reading Thomas Merton's Seven Story Mountain. It's his memoir, and it's amazing. I find him such an inspiring human being, and it's from his story of an ordinary human life
Yeah.
to becoming the Trappist monk that he did. I find all his writing amazing, and I just find his spiritual outlook amazing
And
and really inspiring.
is that what you like to? Is that your go-to for reading? Do you like a crime thriller sometimes, or do you like an
No,
old
I
classic?
like
Or
both. Like often in the morning, I'll start with something kind of spiritual, and then I'll move to like I just finished. I know a lot of people read this already, and like I feel like I'm late to the table. But
yeah,
Maggie O'Farrell's The Marriage Portrait,
yes.
and I loved that. Really loved it. So I kind of go into both worlds, if you know what I mean.
And just to go
Yeah.
back to the one that you're reading about the American Trappist monk, I'm not familiar with this story but it sounds fascinating.
I think you'd be really into it.
Really, what's the
Yeah.
gist of it?
So look, Thomas Merton. I mean, he's the monk and
Yeah.
Trappist monk. I think that's what he went into. He is the one that wrote No Man is an Island,
Oh, okay.
which is an amazing book. So they're really, really, even if you're not Catholic or that in that way inclined,
Yeah.
or even in any way Christian, they are, as self-help as Eckhart Tolle would be, as far as I'm concerned. And real beautiful insights to people. It's like there's one where he has this moment of revelation on a look, he had an ordinary life. What
Yeah.
kind of ordinary? His parents were artists, and his dad was an artist. Anyway, moved around a lot, but went to Cambridge. It seems that he was like in the whole. There's a lot of stories of him being. Well, there was one story of him that I think we both could relate to,
Yeah.
being up, still up early in the morning, having had a late night, and that horrible feeling when people are getting on with their day, going to work, and he's at this bus stop. Anyway, so I think I've given you the picture there that
Yes.
he was living an ordinary, what he would call it. I don't know, it was sinful as far as he's concerned. Anyway, existence. He didn't have any faith at that time. Anyway, so that's why it really is inspiring. He didn't come from a religious background or a thing of faith. But so the story is that there's a thing that I heard from somebody recently where And I got the quote where he has this moment of revelation on the streets. And I feel like in these times where it is so, all we see is how awful we are as human beings, you know, when we have beautiful encounters, a lot of us every day with strangers, you know, he has this moment of revelation on a street, like it's on the corner of Main and somewhere, something like this. And he says, and it was like he got this overwhelming feeling of love and light and looking at people and seeing them as seeing the essence of them and their soul and how beautiful they really were.
Wow.
Everybody having such love for them. It just must have been kind of one of these illuminating moments anyway. But that, you know, I just feel in times where we keep getting bombarded with the opposite, with how awful we are, that it's these moments that I want to read about and
I love that.
And inspired by.
Exactly, because there's so much relentless bad news, and it is awful, and it's not that we should be ignoring it, but gosh, there's only so much we can, you know, handle or let in. But I'll keep an eye. I'm going to pick that book up, and I'll talk to you about it.
And I think we always have to hope and pray and see the good. And find the good. You know, and I think that's, you know, I don't think there's no despair when there's hope, you know, and there always has to be, you know. So I feel we can't despair of ourselves. In fact, try and see the best in ourselves and each other.
That's for sure. I love that. Hope is springs eternal. We getting away from that for a moment, Andrea. Tom has been on to say, tell her we miss her from McManus's pub where you used to work. What are your recollections of working in the pub?
Oh, brilliant recollections. To be honest, I would have done that for free. I loved that job. Like we started working in the pub, obviously pulling pints and all that kind of thing. But we had, and it was our auntie's pub, and there was music and all of that, right? So there was a lot of stuff that led to where we were going in life. But at the same time, we just such crack together, and it was such, I feel, a real education as well on for a young woman, getting to know how to handle yourself around boozy men. Things have come in handy over the years.
I love that. Imagine your dad. Now, girls, this is prep for life, all right? So get busy pulling the pints because this is what they're all like.
When inebriated.
And sometimes when sober. They're out there too, those creatures. You know, it's funny. I always encourage my own daughters to get a job in retail because very quickly you get to realize what the human race is like. There are people who are beautiful, and there are the ignorant, and there are the kind, and there are the awful. And, you know, when you work in a pub or a restaurant or whatever it might be, you get to see it all before, you know, you could go to college for 100 years and still not understand humanity. But you work in a shop or a bar, you get to see it all.
Yeah, it's great. And I love people watching. So it was an ideal scenario for me.
Music-wise, what's happening? Gigs-wise, recording-wise? Give us the latest.
Well, we actually, at the end of the year, last year, we went over to, we started in Jakarta, the Corrs, and we did a tour, Indonesia.
Wow.
We did Manila then, and then around Australia, and finished in New Zealand. So that only finished in the middle of November, and we hadn't been out on tour in a lot of years, well, since 2017. But it was amazing. We had an amazing response, and it kind of did rekindle that fire, you know, the love for our songs, all over the world, and still is. It was love. It was really great. We had a great time. So I think we probably will, and we're very likely to do more of that, and probably closer to home.
What part of the world are the Corrs most loved? I mean, if you can tell by sales or Instagram posts or what have you, what are they telling you?
But they love us in the Philippines. They really do. Great. We had like 2 amazing nights there, you know, and we could have done more. They really, you know, they just. It's incredible audience, right. But as was Indonesia, and then Australia was one of the first, like, along with Ireland and Australia for our music, they took to us first. So like I remember going there the first time, and I'd like get to the hotel and I'm like washing my hair or doing whatever I do, and then I hear in the radio, and so the calls are in town, and I what? Am I hearing it? So so there's real kind of almost pivotal moments in our lives and career that we're in Australia.
I don't know what age you are. So let's move on to the next question. I think when I say that, because
I don't know what age you are. What's that about?
So, the reason I'm saying that is because I don't know if you're at a significant point in your life or not, and I'm too.
I am. Yes.
Go on.
Very significant.
When?
I'm 30. No, I'm not.
When are you 40?
I'm 50 this year.
When? What's your birthday?
May 17th.
Oh, I'm a May baby. So 2 May babies. Excellent. I'm a year ahead of you. So all I'll tell you is it can be bumpy, but it ends well.
Does it end?
The year does eventually. So you'll get there. I mean, obviously, I could be here for an hour and a half telling you that you don't look it, but here we are. And how do you feel about turning 50? Are you worried? Do you care?
No, I'm not worried. It seems strange. I think, like everybody, it does to them. I still feel like I'm a girl. But let me see. What does it feel? No, in a lot of ways, there's a bit of relief with it.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of hard to be young. It's hard to be.
It is.
It's kind of hard to be young and that pressure on. A lot of pressure, and I feel I'm going to embrace, hopefully, the lack of, there's a side of you that almost needs to be, you need to prove, whereas I don't feel I have to do that anymore. I feel I'm me, and if you don't like it, well then turn the TV off. Whatever,
great.
You know what I mean? It's okay.
That is perfect. As I already said today to Mira outside, we were talking. I said, "This is all I got for you. I'm nothing else. This is it."
And she walked away.
She walked away, and over her shoulder, she said, "Just ask her what her beauty tips are." I said, "I can't ask that question. That's ridiculous." But I will ask you. What's your beauty secret? What do you do to keep looking good and feeling good about yourself? Do you exercise? Do you have
I do. Yeah, I do now. I do. I do. I actually do weights.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you're doing the lifts.
It's a big side for me. No, I do. Like, I do go to the gym and do that with the trainer, and I do yoga, and I walk, and so I do a lot more than I used to.
Yeah.
And then I suppose I use a lot of moisturizer. I'm probably gone far too far. I suppose that's on the skin. That's really probably what. Yeah, that's what I do.
That's it. That's a straight question. And then, so it sounds like to me, I'm loving your vibe today, because I think you just found that point where, as you say, you're touching 50, where you think, okay, you were reminiscing really nicely about McManus's pub and saying that they were some of the happy days of your life. I was getting Citizen Kane, Rosebud vibes there as well. And then your tour, and then the expectations of being young and having to look a certain way and sound a certain way and feel a certain way. And I'm sure there were points in your music career where you're just thinking, God, do I have to do this and what have you? But now you're probably hitting that lovely moment, especially after Indonesia, where you're going, yeah, I'm happy with who I am. I'm happy with what I do and how I feel, spiritually and intellectually and emotionally. And I'm ready to go out and just give it another go and have fun.
Yeah, absolutely. It's that's one of the things as well about when we went on to the tour all those years ago when we made these songs. You're trying to promote them as well, so we'd be promoting during the day and then getting on the stage at night. And whereas now, now you actually get to enjoy the songs and go, oh, and you don't need to try and sell them. Yeah. They already love them. Yeah. So yeah, it's a good time. Yeah.
Let's leave it at that. It's an upbeat, positive note, and I'm so grateful to you, because you're good. As I'll say it again, you're a good egg. You're a kind person. I love hanging out with you whenever we have done so. It always ends in
likewise.
It always ends in boldness and mischief, and that's what the world needs more of. That's for sure. Andrea Corr, what a pleasure to talk to you. Best to you. Love to your family. See you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
It's Andrea Corr joining us by Zoom as it happens. So the lads, Ben and the guys, will be able to put that in Kedge. They'll put that up on social, no doubt. But she's a delightful person and always a pleasure to talk to. And very good of her to join us.